This is a Gregersen home movie about our trip to New York State. It took place from May through July of 1962 when I was 9 years old. Starts out with a picture of my brother Hal and my dad on top of the trailer that was purchased just for this trip. You'll see coming up a few pictures of the scenery and sights along the way, including Devil's Slide, as you see here in Weber Canyon, and a buffalo in Wyoming, and so on. I'll try to give you a little background information on why we were there. My dad had just completed a job in Brigham City, Utah, as the general foreman installing engine machinery for Minuteman missiles. So we think perhaps he was called to New York to assist with that machinery, or perhaps work on the silo installation. And the man you saw there a moment ago was Cullen Shoemaker. Everybody called him Shoe, and the woman was Mabel Shoemaker. And there's Hal showing off his tummy. But Shoe and Mabel, Shoe was a friend of Dad's from work, and we went to New York and back together. Here I am doing a cool dance, as always, with Mabel and their cute little dog. Looks like we've arrived in Indiana, and there we are getting ready to cross the street. That's my brother Max, my younger brother Hal, and me. And we visited Niagara Falls, which was amazing. Even with a low-resolution camera like this, it sort of catches the amazingness of it. There's my mother on the left, and Max and Hal and I headed back to the car, it looks like. I'm really helping Hal see. Our destination was Praise Beach Motel. We moved into the trailer park that was there. Disregard that little clip because it's not supposed to be in there. So what you can see ahead, that's Lake Champlain. So we literally lived across the street from Lake Champlain and really had a great time all summer, swimming, and really a fun place to live. There was a swing set on the premises, and that's Hal, my brother Hal, playing there. We love the dock. Max and I sitting at the end of it. Here's a big rainstorm. People from Utah aren't accustomed to big rainstorms, so that was noteworthy enough to take a picture. There's the little trailer park. And Hal was about 4 years old at the time. As I stated, I was 9. And Max and I had finished school in Utah, finished our grade. And when we got to New York, they still had another month of school to go. So it was optional for us to participate in that, and we decided to go for it. It was actually quite an adventure for both of us. We rode a bus through, a country lanes filled with ferns and beautiful trees, and had just a great time having an extra month of school that year. Of course, Max's construction has to be flashier than anybody else's because he was a builder. And he was good at it. There was this little dock out there. When we wanted to go there, we wore a little ski belt. But it was a lot of fun. That's Max and me. And Hal with his, what did they call those? Float wings, ducky wings, whatever. Hal climbed up by my dad. As you can see, Hal was a really cute little brother. And an exciting rainstorm once again. What you see here is Hal and Susan at a birthday party. I have no memory of whose birthday party it was. A neighbor, I guess. That's me trying to eat something successfully. I got my hair cut short, which was the first time it had been short, so it took a while to get used to. We did a little sightseeing while we lived there. That's my brother Max's friend. I can't remember his name, but that's okay. So Max's school class got to go on a field trip while we were there. They went to Fort Ticonderoga, just up the, road a bit from Plattsburgh. So he came back with all kinds of stories about that, and it was totally an amazing event, an amazing place, I'm sure, in our American history. Apparently one of my parents enjoyed that policeman's signaling traffic. Here you see a trip to the Air Force Base in Plattsburgh, and we got to climb up into the jets. Exciting stuff. That's me wearing what was called a skirt. It was like shorts and a skirt all at once. Yeah, tricky. Looks like a bear on top of there. That must have been part of the entertainment. This is called Sable Chasm. We went there to explore. In my research, I found that the 12 Atlas missiles were actually stored at Sable Forks, which I assume is probably near this. I don't know if that's significant or not. Here you see we took a ferry to Vermont. It's fun to ride a ferry. You drive your car right onto the ferry and go for a ride across the lake or the river. That's me peeking over the edge quite boldly. Max and I. That was before I got my hair cut, since I have a lovely ponytail. We're on the road to Canada here to visit my grandma Gregersen's sister Hazel and her family, so we actually crossed over into Canada to visit them. They owned a place called Chaffey's Locks, Chaffey''S, and they had boats and a lodge and were so very nice. They were thrilled to have family come because they're so very far away from Utah that literally no one from the family ever came to visit, and that was their grandchildren. We had a great time. I believe that would be Don Jarrett, Hazel's husband, and there is Hazel. Once again, my grandmother Gregersen's sister. My parents noted that the headstones in this cemetery were very tall, so felt like they needed to take a picture of it, apparently. Then we headed to Montreal. And that sign was probably in French, maybe. I'm not sure why it was given so much video time, but there we were in Montreal. The skyline, some sights. There's our family walking along, looking like tourists. There's a museum, which I don't really remember at this time. I believe that is a lock on the St. Lawrence River. Locks were so important so that boats could travel, because the elevation changed as you went along. So there are locks everywhere up there. What a lovely sign. My dad got the signboards and had a lot of fun editing the movies and adding signs so that it helped explain, which was great. Beautiful ferns were everywhere, something that you just don't see in Utah. So we were all excited about the greenery in the area. That road reminds me of being on the bus on the way to school. This is a rest stop. Took a break and headed on out. So our family decided to visit New York City on a Sunday. As you can see, the cars going the other way were a lot going out of the city. Well, we're going over George Washington Bridge right here. And we're so excited to visit the city. Unfortunately, since it was Sunday, pretty much everything was closed, including the Statue of Liberty, everything. So there wasn't much going on, but it was still exciting. The Empire State Building, which at that point was the tallest building in the world. And I tried to take a picture of it, but not easy. This is looking down from the top of the Empire State Building. The elevators in the Empire State Building were still working, so we got to go up there and look around. A big city. I had never been any place like that before, that's for sure. Yes, at this point, I prefer to see close-ups of family members rather than so much scenery, but this was pretty exciting at the time. As you can see, that looks like there are people from India. We are at the United Nations building, so there were people from all around the world nearby. My dad and I walking along. He's showing me something fascinating. So the job was over and it was time to go home. They're pulling out the trailer. Dad always owned a 3/4 ton truck so that he could pull our trailers. And this particular one, I'm thinking was a 30-foot long. I think it was 10 by 30, but I could be wrong. I mean, I was only 9 years old at the time, right? What did I know about trailers? tollways were quite a new event for our family, so they took a picture of that. Once again, Shu and Mabel and the dog. I wish I could remember the dog's name. There's Big Max. Pennsylvania. Nice. And instantly we're in Ohio. Gotta check out the rest stops. Oh, look at muscly Susan running the pump. Max does it lots faster. And Hal does it just as fast. Cannot to be outdone. Oh, cute. Oh, goodness. The farmer's market was in Cleveland. Not that Max would ever bother anybody. That's the Kirtland Temple. We stopped to see it on the way home. Certainly a landmark for people in our church. And onward. There will be some more scenery coming up. So maybe while we have all of this scenery, oh, here's a better shot of the trailer. And the truck. Yeah. So, anyway. Don't know what that is. So part of the reason we thought Dad's work involved the missiles in New York is in my research, I found that the first missile arrived at the Plattsburgh Air Force Base in April 1962, and then we moved there in May 1962. And since he had been working on those right up through May 1962 in Brigham City, we're guessing that he was asked to follow the missiles back east and make sure everything arrived safely and was functioning and got installed properly. We don't know how much work he did on the silos or anything like this. Max had said that he knows he had gotten top secret clearance and he never talked about his work while he was there. So, pretty exciting stuff. Ames, Iowa was a place where my dad spent some time when he was in the Navy, had some training there. So I'm guessing he took a picture of the sign because that meant something to him. This is a joke. We had found a empty bottle of alcohol and put it by Dad. That was funny. We had seen the Palmyra pageant, and afterward Hal was very much still thinking about it. As you saw back there, he wore little rags on his head and had a stick for a spear or something. And I remember in the back of the station wagon, I could hear him singing, humming little songs in minor keys, so it really had an impact on him. I very much enjoyed it also. Here's an oil well, interesting sight. Or an oil pump. It's going to a well, right? So, headed west. Almost done with the New York adventure, and it truly was an adventure for our family, passing the Lincoln Monument. Now there's going to be a clip right here that's out of place. All of these videos started out as, I think they were maybe 30-second reels. I don't know how long they were. They were not very long. And my dad spliced them together. And so, in some cases, they're a little bit out of order. So, yeah, we're back at Aunt Hazel's place again in Chaffee's Locks in Canada. So it's just a little piece that's out of order, but it's fun to see my siblings and I showing what size of fish we caught there. This is awesome. Watch this. That's my brothers right there, folks. Sorry for laughing. This is supposed to be a narration, excuse me. So anyway, it finishes up in Canada, but actually, it was the end of our New York adventure.